All right, friends, we're back. We are on the homestead and there is work to do. This used to be and will once again shortly, hopefully very shortly, but probably a little bit longly, our kitchen. Will be our kitchen again, was once a kitchen, is now the bones for a much better kitchen. We went and visited family in California and we were gone for about 6 weeks. And in that period of time, my friend and builder, Dan, did the demo, got the walls back up, and very excited to be at this stage because at the end of this month, today is the 1st of September, the kitchen will be installed. We're working with Workshop Designs, a local design firm in the Wairarapa here in New Zealand. They're an incredible team. Phoebe and Alice, two sisters, running this awesome bespoke kitchen design company. They've put together some beautiful plans and we are working diligently to get everything ready for them. There's a little bit left on the plate, as you can see, pulling out the old crown molding and getting that ready to get replaced. And then I will be putting down drop cloths, doing some siliconing and putty work, taping off everything, prepping for painting this room. If you've ever painted from scratch with bare walls, you gotta do a couple of coats of primer, a couple of coats of paint. I've always found that the most difficult part of painting is actually just the prep work before you get the roller and the paintbrush out. So I'll shut up and we'll get to work. Let's go. Just kidding. I'm gonna talk you through everything that I'm doing here. So I'm pulling out all the old crown molding on the section of the ceiling that didn't get replaced. Doing a quick vacuum because there's a lot of dust up there. It's an old house. Getting all the stuff off of the floor and then pulling out all of the nails from the old crown molding. Got those out, did a little dance because dancing makes everything better. Filling in some of the little gaps around the plumbing that was installed in the kitchen, and then going around and adding newspaper on all the corners and then covering everything up with pretty much all the drop cloths that I own. I actually had to go buy a couple more because we didn't have quite enough to cover everything. It was a nice little moment. We got a new lamb, orphan lamb. Tell us what we should name it. Anyways, after you get the crown molding up, you have to actually fill in all of the little holes from the nails. So I did that, then I got the silicone out and managed to get that done in the evening. Well, it's the next day and I'm not gonna lie, this is hard. Miter cuts for crown molding. Gotta use a miter saw, which I have out in the garage. My friend and builder Dan has left it here, but he has his nail gun, which makes this process a lot easier. I just have a hammer and some nails, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way. This is challenging. I have to watch tutorials. This process of doing miter cuts is something that you really have to just learn through doing. And when you do that, there's some wastage, but it's a good process. And I just got one of these little corners done. I'm doing this outside corner on the wall here. It's hard, but it's a great feeling when you get it done the right way. So let's keep going. And then slowly but surely we are unloading all of the stuff from the garage. The garage has just basically been converted into storage for materials for the kitchen renovation. But today we went down to Workshop Designs. They're doing all of our custom kitchen joinery. And so we just dropped off our sink today, our butler sink. It's so beautiful. It's the biggest, deepest sink. When Workshop Designs come and install our kitchen will be a glorious day. But there is work to be done before that can happen. So back in here, it's nuts, you know, there's always something. And I think when you don't live in the country and you drive through the country, sometimes you see those houses and there's just stuff everywhere. And you're like, man, they're so disorganized. Couldn't they just tidy up a little bit? And then when you move to the country, you start to realize all of those things have a purpose. And it's better to store them than have to run into town every single time to get one or two things. The key is storing them right, tidy, and out of sight. What do you think? Let me know. Anyways, this is a miter saw. This is the tool. And basically it has this rotation here. So, you know, you cut a 45-degree angle, that little line. You just slide that over like that, over to the other 45, and you cut the other side. And that sounds simple, But let me tell you, it's not. And then I've also found when miter cutting, it's great to use your little offcuts to like build the edges so that you know which direction to cut when you're cutting. When you come back out and you're confused, and you're like, wait, which way was it? You have this little thing, you can write, you know, outside corner or whatever it is that you're cutting, and then you can make it work on the piece that you're actually cutting. I feel like it saves me going back and forth, cutting, recutting, and making mistakes. Looks good. This is the moment of truth. Nice. All right, let's get back into it. We've got to stir that paint up. You can't just paint, you got to shake it and stir it and mix everything up. So anyways, I got a couple of bits of primer onto the crown molding that I installed, and I actually thought that, you know, I could get away with just painting the new jib on the ceiling and blending the two areas, but it ended up not looking that great. So I decided I would actually have to paint the whole area with new paint just up into that dividing beam. So I had to finish installing the crown molding in the area where I had taken it off previously. We're hitting a little bit of a roadblock. You remember what I said earlier in this vlog about storing stuff because you might need it down the road? Just proved the validity of that statement. That last little section of crown molding, I mismeasured by about 3 millimeters, and it has a big gap. And that was the end of the crown molding that I bought. But then I remembered I had some stored up in the top rafters of the garage. And lo and behold, here it is. The perfect length. Has a little bit of bird poo on it because, you know, birds like to fly in there and poo on our stuff. But hey, nothing that a little spit shine and a bit of paint won't fix. So remember, store stuff, because one day down the line, you might need it. Here's another good turn of phrase that I picked up from the building world, and I'm definitely not a builder. I'm just a guy who needs to renovate his house for his family. But this is a good little turn of phrase. Do your best and then caulk the rest. Talking about this caulk. Get your heads out of the gutter. Jeez. Okay, so I thought I was gonna save some time here by taping the ceiling side and the wall side of the crown molding so I could just get that paint on there quick, but it ended up being pain because the tape actually pulled the paint off. Now there's a couple reasons why that could happen. I did buy the cheapest tape possible. That's probably why. Or maybe the paint just wasn't fully dry yet. Either way, it was a pain in the butt. Don't worry, there's more annoying stuff to take care of right here. Ready to make a huge mess? Me too. We had some big cracks running down the joins of the walls in the living room, and I figured since the house is already chaotic, we might as well just fix these now and get them all fixed up, plastered, taped, and painted while the house is in this state of disrepair. I cleaned out all the gaps in the big cracks. That's kind of what you have to do. You have to open it up even more, dust down all the loose broken stuff. Make sure you get the new mud deep into those cracks. Add some join tape, which could either be paper or fiberglass. I kind of like the fiberglass paper better. And then do a few coats of mud on there, sanding in between. The good news is we finally got our laundry unit back and installed. It's been a bit of a journey, but we got there, got the plumber out to get everything all connected. So I was just adding the last little bit here, this little unit to tighten up onto one of the pipes, and then siliconing behind the cabinet top and the wall to make sure that no moisture gets in there. Playing a little air guitar with my daughter is always a great way to start the day. And then the weather kind of turned and got nasty, so I did some more work inside. Wanted to clean up these French doors a bit because the previous owners must have had a large dog that put some real big scratch marks into that wood. So cleaned that up, and then there was another big gap running down the side of the fireplace, so I figured I'd fix that as well while we have all the plastering stuff out. It's really important that you get enough mud under there so that the tape sits really well and gets stuck into that mud for a good join. Okay, it's Saturday morning, and yesterday was Carrie's birthday, so we took the day off, went down to Martinborough, had a lovely lunch. It's time to wrap up the painting in here, so I've got 2 coats of 8th Spanish white, a resin paint that we've used for the rest of our house. And so I got 2 coats of that to do all the way around the walls, and then that should be that for... Eliana's obsessed with brushing her teeth lately, so super cute. Gotta get him started young, you know, don't want those cavities. If I get those 2 coats of paint on today, then that is a huge win. We'll all be in a much better position because, you know, the kitchen is going to be ready to get installed, like the cabinetry, in less than 2 weeks. And there's still quite a bit of other work that needs to happen. Like we got to patch some holes in the flooring, sand that and stain it. My favorite job. Touch up stuff. If I get this done today, I will pat myself on the back and probably wrap this vlog up. Okay, well, the moment of truth, everything's primed, everything's looking good, the ceiling's fully painted, so let's dive into painting the walls. The good news is I don't actually have to bring the paint all the way down to the bottom because it's going to be hidden by the cabinetry. So I had about 850 mils up from the bottom that didn't need to be painted. So I got that all painted, and then I sanded up that last join, put another coat on the big crack in the living room, and that's kind of where we are now. So I will update you all in the next vlog. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe. Peace.